There we are. Good morning, everyone, and I'm happy whatever today is. Nobody cares. Let's have some tea and get on with it, shall we? Yes, like drinking the surface of the sun. Very good. All right, so what are we doing today? We are going to fix a bug. A nasty bug that Dozzy discovered in his wrangling with Anathema. Right, let's catch up. Hello, Privan, how you doing? Hello, Caleb. Hello, Scott. Hello, Cat Peasant. Hello, Christopher. Hello, Sherbinator. Have you ever went to work with your fingernails painted by your daughter? Not gone to work. I did work with a guy. I just been talking to my kid, and I worked with a guy. And doing the stand-up, I said, "What have you been up to, sweetie?" And it was a pretty large Russian dude. But no, I've never let my kid paint my fingernails. There's never been a need for that. But you know, to each their own, of course, right? Hello, Change Seeker, how you doing? You sure were. Do you want some VIP for that, Privan? All right. I think on it. I think maybe I acted, rashly there. Mod, nah, cancelled. All right, you can't unsub. You've signed a contract to be sub for life. All right, you have not, and that's good. Okay, so what should we do? We should. Oh man, my head's all over the place. We're gonna make a small reproducible example. That's what we're gonna do, right? All right, I got something in my eye. What's involved in these chicken tenders, though, Locke? What does chicken tenders mean here? Like breaded fried chicken sticks. 50 shades of all right, I got nothing. Okay, so let's chase a bug. Non-exhaustive pattern. All right. I think I just found it. I wonder if this is what's happening. But then, do I not have to do this? No, entry has been removed. Yeah, we have to do this. Okay. Whew. I mean, as far as content goes, right? I'll show you what we have, Christopher. Let me show you what we have. We have quite a lot of things, Christopher. It's just that they're all disabled. I can enable stretch though, right? They're all disabled right now while I'm figuring out the network issues that I managed to produce. So they are coming back. They are coming back. We're going to have more things, that's for sure. But for now, we have errors. And excessively large network packages, or payloads rather. Yeah, I mean, I do chicken in the air fryer, but I don't like to coat them with anything in general. Although I do mostly chicken in pressure cooker because I think that's nice, right? Okay, I mean, that could be an icebreaker. Hello, Chromos, how you doing? So reread is there if someone's saying something that they deem important and I miss that because I can't catch up with everyone in the chat if I'm focused on doing something. And if people want me to pay attention to something, and then they can use the reread thing, right? And copy and paste the message. Hello, runtime. How are you going? Okay, so we need to make a minimum reproducible example out of this thing. So let's start by just going here. Copy and paste some code. I should really just make a macro for this thing. I mean, I do it so frequently. Right? I do it so frequently. It's really nice to see other people doing this. You say, oh, that sucks. Hopefully nothing permanent. That really is rubbish. Hello, Lana. How you doing, buddy? How are you going? Oops. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Hello, Bronchulus. Great, right, tired? Yeah, I didn't stick around to watch. I was so tired. I gave her a follow. Can you imagine? She didn't even have streamer alerts, right? What kind of low budget, no good streamers don't have alerts, right? I mean, honestly. That's a joke, by the way. We don't need anything for this thing. Actually, I think we do need a state. Let's have some things. We're just gonna have some numbers in there. Actually, we can change this to cars, right? No, and then I have to come up with some. That's not. It's unreal, Londo. Unreal. The thing is, if you're sick, I mean, I don't know what it's like where you work, but I mean, if you're sick, you're sick, right? You're not gonna get any better if you work from home. There's some borderline idiotic arguments there, right? But what do I know, right? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna import things. And then here we're gonna say things is a list from iter 0 to 100, right? Yes, there we go. Today I have like a zero tolerance for politics, I feel like. So if anyone want to talk about politics, I'm just going to ask you not to. Or any kind of world events. I'm so like drained from all of this. But that's not what we're here. We're here to talk about programming. politics. You know what this button does, Priven? I have 2 buttons at my disposal. This one and this one, okay? Hopefully we don't have to resort to this one. But these 2, they are very useful buttons. Politics programming? No, like no politics. My brain is very frayed. So I feel like I'm a little bit dead inside today, which is why I do bug hunting and fixing, because that definitely makes everything better. All right, so we're gonna have the tick function here. I think that's where things are going awry in all this. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna do state.things.pop back, and then we're gonna push 999 in there, right? Okay, we don't need the callback for this, so we get rid of that. But I should probably add common val into the prelude. Let's do that. I feel like that should be in there. Maybe it should be in the component, yeah. Yeah. I feel like tabs versus spaces is such a boring conversation that's been had already. Thing is, I was never really involved in a conversation about tabs versus spaces, right? That conversation, I never had that. I don't think I would care for it either, but no one ever was like really emotional about their tabs versus spaces kind of thing, right? It was like, at this company we do this. All right. At this company we do that. All right. I mean, you're the client. You set the bar. So that was never a thing for me. And other programmers, I just assumed that they're all wrong all the time. So nothing really happened there either. All right, so I think this is going to break for us now if we run this. So we have better error handling now. So missing component index, that's a thing. Even though we have register component here. That's probably because we don't have the template. So why don't we just say for value in things, text value, right? That should be sufficient. Okay, great. It's not breaking. Ugh. Don't you just love it when things aren't breaking? You think they're gonna break, but they don't. This was the whole premise. This was my entire identity, was this. All right, but let's do something nested in here. So we're gonna register not a component, but a prototype. So here we'll use thing instead, and then we're gonna say that value is our value. Okay, I'm hoping this will break it, so we at least get one step closer. Well, it broke for other reasons. Yes, it's breaking. Where's the error message though? I changed this yesterday. I don't want to see that. Okay, that's an invalid generation. That's a different issue. Yeah, go for it. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I have seen that. Yes, something is wrong. I have on occasion freaked out when things just works. I remember a day where everything I coded worked first time. I did about 2 weeks of estimated work in 6 hours. That's nice. So I'm chasing a bug now, Dawson. It's yeah, the teleprompter thing is done. It's on the other side of the room. and I have to start. All I have to do is start in. I have an actual old keyboard on the floor, so I know Museum was joking about this, but I can advance the teleprompter with my foot now, just pushing a button. I also programmed in that left arrow key goes back in case I do a mistake, or I want to like start from the beginning and reread and re-record. I also set up OBS to have the source plugin, so I can now record both cameras from one instance of OBS. Then I made a key binding to my keyboard, so I just push a button on my keyboard to start recording, so I can very easily sit where I do recording and start it. The thing is, I wasn't feeling like doing anything today with the YouTube video. I was quite happy. I was jumped at any reason to not do the YouTube video today. So when Doddy is like, maybe that's the thing, I was like, yeah, look at it, bye. AWC uses a virtual machine for his streaming, and just as OBS captured that virtual machine. I'm trying to replicate this one. Do you have any recommendations about it? None whatsoever. I have not done that. I don't know who AWC is. Adam writes code, something like that, maybe. But yeah, no, I have not done that. But I mean, all you do is just capture your desktop, whether you're showing a full screen VM or not. Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. Yeah. I certainly know who that is. I'm working on my mobile app right now. You can get a lot of info about the device, but it's about the battery. You need specific permission. Okay. Hello, Crispy. How you doing? You could, but the VM's going to be full screen anyway, isn't it? I think what would be most useful in that case, Cat Peasant, is to have key bindings to stop and start streaming. Because, well, maybe you have two monitors. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be fine, right? So what you can do, Cat Peasant, you can just hit the record button and record a video where you test out the sound and the performance and everything, right? Yeah, I totally get that. So what I do is I have separate profiles for my web browser. I have one that I never show on stream, and that has a different background. I've accidentally showed it on stream a few times, but that's different backgrounds. Then is this browser, which thinks we're in various different countries on a daily basis, and such. I'm not signed into anything using my email address or anything like that, right? So just create another profile. And then for me, I just run browser. This is my non-shareable browser, and then Firefox is just going to run Firefox with whatever, right? There's nothing I'm logged into here that you guys can't see. I don't tend to use this computer for anything other than streaming, programming, and recording videos, so this computer is already pretty void of any personal information. Hello, Temporis. How you doing? Presumably, possibly bearded Temporis. That's too much of a pain, right? I used to have a separate user for work when I needed the performance of this computer, but I don't think it's worth having separate users. Having to log in and out is too much of a hassle. So you have like your workflow for something set up on one user, and then you forget about it, and now you gotta do this and set it up again for the streaming user. And yeah, I can probably do with some trimming as well, right? But it's up to the wife whether she's interested in dealing with it or not. It's her beard. I'm just holding on to it for her. Yeah, in that case, so when it comes to work, right, if we're distinguishing between work and streaming, then I would certainly have a different user, right? But that just makes sense, right? Because you're gonna have encrypted whatevers for work and all that stuff, right? So, but if I'm gaming or not, it doesn't really matter, right? For like gaming and being signed into an email address and having things like my actual address and stuff available in some places, that is a different story, right? Yeah, I mean, you could do this, but if it's Linux, then I wouldn't worry about it. Chrome for stream, yeah, that's also a way to do it, right? Just use Chrome for streams and not worry about it, right? I think, yeah. So the thing is, Cat Peasant, you will make mistakes in the beginning, right? You will accidentally share something you don't want to share. But in the beginning, when you stream, you're not going to have a million viewers anyway, all right? There's some of you know way too much stuff about me, okay? And that's okay. You were there from the start. You turned out not to be crazy people, as far as I know. It's fine. But as you progress or as you get on with it, it's not really... You kind of want to keep some of that stuff separate. It's not really changing the value, right? If you guys knew that I lived in Italy, for instance, it wouldn't make any difference to you, right? You'd be like, okay, maybe we'll have a pizza one day. But other than that... Yeah, but then you've been crazy for 4 years, over 4 years, right? And I haven't suffered from your crazy. So I don't actually mind that crazy. I'm also crazy, right? But we are that level of crazy that doesn't hurt you, right? Not that level of crazy that will find out where you live and then stick a dog poo in your mailbox kind of crazy. I have lived in Spain, yes, that is true. It's the crazy lurkers that you don't know are there. Yeah, maybe that too, right? I mean, the thing is, I have been subject to things that makes me not want to share. I don't care if you guys really know how old I am or what country I live in, but also I do care because I have had some uncomfortable situations. And I think this happens to everyone, right? Where people are saying or doing things that you're just not comfortable with. And that's that, right? Nothing more than that. I assume you mean Spain. It's a country in Europe, Rebel. I don't like to measure time in follow age, but rather unused channel points. This is like a guilty number to me, Cat Peasant. This is a guilty number. Let's play some game, though. I'm feeling like the pressure of the world today. I don't know how you guys are doing, but hopefully you're not. I would say circa 1997, 98, whatever this game is, from the graphics. I've seen what internet can do to people that are far less offensive than I am. Yeah, it's not like we're not looking to. Yeah, honestly, I don't know, right? Oh man, you guys got a lot of points, okay? That is, we're gonna have to fix this, right? We're gonna have to fix. My first thought is this is from the era of the first Tomb Raider. That's what comes to mind. So we'll go with Tomb Raider. There we go. Not new. Wait, can you please let me select original? Okay, it is Tomb Raider, but it's not the right one. Maybe it's the second one then. Oh my god. The third one? What the hell is this? This is not the multiplayer one. Oh, is it like anniversary? Come on, the 90s. I mean, honestly, okay. Why did you buy this game? Hello, Dottie. No. I'm just showing off Lara Croft for a second. Underworld. I mean, really? How many of these are there? Have we tried Legend? The Last Revelation. 99. I was off by 2 years. Two big reasons to buy this game, yeah. Come on. I'm not in streamer mode again, right? We need to chat again soon. Streaming so busy, but will catch up. I read your messages, but I can't always reply. And after stream, I am generally dead inside. Okay, let's go into streamer mode again, which I keep forgetting to do. Bop. There we are, right. Okay. I failed the game though. I was off by 2 years as well. Hello, Damodar. How are you doing? I just tend to listen to music rather than watching Twitch. I put Twitch on generally when I do some programming and I want to not just sit in silence because I'm on my own, right? We're about to embark on the journey, Doddy, of finding this bug. I managed to produce another bug, and I think it has to do with the tick function. There are far too many Yeah, I don't think that's in-game footage. If you guys want to know what Tomb Raider 1 looked like, be prepared for some polygons, right? Like, you could cut your hands on that. Ah, the joy. For buoyancy. Should I learn Rust? If you want to. I know C++ and Python. Like, well, I mean, what it comes down to is, do you want to, right? Why don't you give it a try, Damodar? And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If it's like, if you feel like, what a shit language, then that's your legit feelings around the language. And you don't have to like it just because everyone keeps telling you should like it, right? Actually, no one tells anyone about anything anymore. I think like there are 2 large streamers in this category on Twitch now. 3. There's Prime, Pirate, and Sodding, right? Sodding programs whatever. Prime programs SIG right now. And Pirate Software does what? Minecraft modding and Game Maker Studio. So the whole Rust flair on Twitch is kind of gone, right? Could you name game of the decade for each decade? Who decides which game is the game of the decade, though, right? Syntax? No, syntax is not gonna be the problem, Dawson. Syntax is the least of a problem when you learn a programming language. You have fundamentals like data storage or like the records, structs, classes, whatever, right? Variables and bindings, control flow like if, else, and for loops, and some kind of module system. And these things, syntax is just learning how to do this in that language. But because Rust actually has a lot of other things attached to it, like the borrow checker, move semantics, and visible lifetimes, and all these things, that adds an overhead that should not be dismissed, right? I don't think traits are complicated. I think traits are just annoying to follow, but they're not complicated. Yeah, I think the syntax is just something you get used to. I mean, I get the question, like, why is Rust syntax so ugly? And I don't understand why people ask me that. Like, first of all, I'm not a Rust spokesperson. I don't work for the evil Rust Council, right? I didn't design the syntax. I don't know what to tell you other than, well, whether something is ugly or not is very subjective, right? I mean, maybe you really hate the color blue and I kind of like it. Or maybe the number 5 makes you feel anxiety and I don't feel anything about the number 5, right? It's very subjective, right? Okay, so we end up in an invalid generation here. So we can clear off some of this gunk. So even if this is not the same issue that Doddy has, it was easy enough to reproduce or produce a issue, right? Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so we are doing different things. We're changing the order and we're getting errors based on that, right? So this error is going to be horrible, I think, to debug. Oh yeah, but that's a whole different story, right? I never bought one of those t-shirts, but I kind of wish I had, because I liked the print. Someone did a high quality SVG, I think, of it, right? I don't think so, Rebel. I think the module system of Python, because you can combine it with Python's duck typing, is way more finicky, given that you could literally just replace things in a module. But both Python and Rust operates on mostly file system hierarchy, right? So it's not really that complicated. If you have a file called bob.rs in your source directory, then you can write mod bob at the top of your main rs or librs, and your module is now bob, and it's there, right? It's not more complicated than that. It's the same thing in Python, right? Except in Python, it depends on where you run the code from. So Python can actually be more complicated, right? But that is, of course, down to Python being interpreted, right? So where you run it from and your sys Python path can differ. There's more things that can go wrong in Python path than Rust path, right? But I agree with you that there are cognitive overhead, though. I can't say that I agree with you because you never said that, but I can say that there is some cognitive overhead with it, right? Yeah, and I think that comes probably from interfaces and generics, right? So traits and generics are kind of already familiar to you because of that, right? This is horrible that this is happening. And I don't even know. I think this could have with the order of things in the runtime. So what is horrible is we get two different errors depending on what we do here. If we do this, we get an invalid generation error, and if we swap them around, we get a value should always be associated with a path, right? So the sequence of events that are occurring do not take into consideration the changes that can happen with the tree. So this is most likely a runtime issue. But we have two different errors based on the order of things here. And I think that these errors will all congregate into the runtime and fit with the error that Dodd is experiencing, right? Yes, I believe what is happening, this is happening because we do this with the components, right? So if we don't have components in this, if I skip this and just do text value here, this is no longer an issue. This is running and it's fine. It's not an issue. But because we add the component in there, something is happening that is leaving us with a component, right? In an invalid state. What is most likely happening is that state changes causes component changes, and they are not reflected, right? If we go to the runtime and we look at, so the runtime is moderately complex. So we have this tick function where everything is actually happening, right? This is where things are related to the runtime. So we can see what is happening here, right? So first of all, we're going to handle messages sent between components, all right? This one is not relevant. And I haven't even written the optimization that I've left on the table now for a very long time. I have an optimization to come back to. I wanted to fix everything before we got to that. But, you know. Anyway, here we're handling the events. And these events can result in the components changing. So we got this tick thing happening So both handle and tick can do this. I wonder if we could just move this to a different issue. By the way, I did a change today. Let me tell you about the change I did for those of you who got the keyboard. And this kind of change makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. I've always had backspace up here on any keyboard, and that's what you're used to. You probably also have that on your keyboard. This button is backspace and control. And I realized that you have to hold the key down to get control. And sometimes, this is mostly happening when I do video editing, I am too fast with the button push, so I end up doing a backspace instead. So removing backspace and just replacing this with control has been a pretty big change for me. This doesn't have to be a key anymore. Look at all the unused keys I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 unused keys. We don't need this either. 7, 8. This is such a luxury to have. I probably will add something to these eventually. But, and also I don't use these either. So we're going to get rid of these too. I will find use for them. But for now, I shan't have them. And neither shall you. Mine was related to keys, I think. Yep. I like coding in Rust. I was just putting a utility I wrote long ago to it. It's a bit weird having to write unwrap and clone everywhere. Okay, first of all, okay, unwrap and everywhere should not be in the same sentence, Fish. Okay, handle your errors now. It looks like a design flaw to me. I don't know if you're memeing though, Fish. I'm guessing you're memeing here, right? Soon going back to 40%. Now I'm gonna make use of them, right? But I have to get comfortable with the changes I've made, right? Okay, so if we change this to an event instead, where's the event? We don't care about messages, we don't care about resize, we don't care about callbacks for now, but we do care about on key. Don't care about you. So I think if we do this, well, if we're gonna get it to break, we should probably have these going. Okay, yeah, we can get it to break. Okay, so this is not specific to the tick function, and I kind of imagined that it wasn't, right? Given that we are doing both tick and event handling at this stage, right? So unless this is a red herring, and oh my god, my shoulders are burning today. Unless this is a red herring, we are going to find... We're gonna find ourselves somewhere in all this, right? I stopped asking questions about what's wrapped. I don't get it, Fish, but okay. Instead of draining the changes when applying the changes, we can keep the changes and use them in a subsequent update. Store the size and constraint. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is it, right? What about floating with? That's not really a question anymore. We'll leave it in there. So one of these, I think we can safely do this. Wait, what? Was that it? What? Is this it? I assume this was not gonna be it. Wow, that's kind of weird. In Vim, the macro motion, not sure how to call it, unpleasantly noticeable the placing of semicolon from within any place in a line in insert mode, such that when I'm done modifying the code, I can simply double press and it adds that in the end of the line. I honestly don't understand the message. I can double press semicolon and adds that in the end of the line and move to the next line. Is that because you don't want to press? So are you saying that if you do double tap semicolon, it's going to go to the end of the line, add it, and then go to the next line? It seems like just a configuration, right? Actually, I don't understand your message. I'm trying to talk as if I do. Okay, so the question is, it has to be within here that the error occurs then. No, it isn't. Okay. Is this it? Oh, yes, it is. Okay, I think this is an unrelated issue. I think you are alone in the universe thinking this. That semicolon specifically is a chore. Any statement termination, right? I think most people just accept that in C-style languages. But your feelings are valid. Not arguing against it. So this is what is happening. Because this is a future value, we can just try path instead. So the value has disappeared, right? So this is fixing the first bug, but I don't know why that's occurring. Okay, so we might have multiple bugs here, though. Is this part of your emotes? No, I thought you made it. No, I think it's like decades of doing this. It's just one of those things that you accepted because the alternative is something different. You always have to have statement termination, right? That's just how programming works. Whether that's a new line character or a semicolon, it doesn't matter. You need something, right? It took me a second to understand what you were on about. Like, yeah, that's what he said. But then I noticed the semicolon. You lark. You lark, you owl. Right, okay. So we're going to go to Doddy's thing and see if this breaks now. Yeah, entry has been removed. So we still have an issue. We just can't see it. All right, so let's do 1 to 10 here instead, so we can see these. We should probably enable the old screen and okay, it's drawing nothing. So clearly the fix is not a fix. It's not even a band-aid. It's a mistake. So something is being removed and maybe added before. Let's slow the application down. So what we could do is we can use the delta time and subtract the delta time from, let's, and we can keep reducing the thing based on the delta time, right? But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to set the frame rate to be 4. That has to be mutable. Whoops. Typo. Oh, man. I am so not on the ball. Okay, we'll set it to 1. Then we should be able to see this if we change this to just be text value. Nothing is happening. Right, so this is where the problem is. Pushing and popping is causing the issue. The annoying thing is that I fixed this 100 years ago. Yeah, I mean that when it comes down to discipline, you might lose out a little. Yeah, I don't know why you would though, because JavaScript was never promoted as a language without semicolons. It's just an awkward thing that the language has, right? No one who's from planet Earth would write JavaScript without semicolon. It's a C-style language. You're gonna have semicolon and curly brackets. It's literal statement termination. Why the language forgives you for being sloppy is beyond me, right? But this is why people like strongly typed languages as well, right? Because the compiler's going to catch these nonsense things, right? I don't think this is going to have any impact. It does. Does this mean that we could do this? No, it does not mean that we can do this. It's a different issue now. Entry has been removed. So entry has been removed. This probably speaks to the generation changing. Okay, you know what we can do? We're gonna do cargo. Can we do cargo fix? All right, and then there's all the things that we can't automatically fix. Like this. Just so, because I don't want to see the warnings, right? We can get rid of delta time. We can get rid of the context as well. We might need that later, so we just underscore it, and we do the same thing with elements. Cargo C. So do you guys think that nostalgia, right, which is clearly crack for old people, do you guys think that we have so much nostalgia because it's sort of, it's easier to think about the joyful things in the past than it is to deal with the world that we live in, right? I didn't mean to try to sound profound there, but I just wonder about the nostalgia because I like it, right? I like playing old video games. I like listening to old music. I like to imagine what things, like memories change over time. And familiar things make comfort. Yeah, but I mean, that's very true. But this room is very familiar to me. I say room, but let's call it what it is. This cage is very familiar to me. I think it's just one of those things, right? Where it's sort of a comfort to live in the past, but you can't, right? You can't but every time I feel like, so right now I'm suffering from a rabbit-sized hole in my heart, right? And playing the world's smallest violin for myself here, right? And on account of that, I kind of tend to like get drawn into nostalgia, but memory is so fickle and very inaccurate. So the things that we remember from our childhood and things like that, right? They weren't really like that, right? Yeah. And that's because the memories are so fickle, right? You don't really remember things back to that age, but my kid was reciting things that happened when she was 2. She's like, oh yeah, I remember that toy house I had in the living room, and I got a Kinder Egg, and we had that cake. I was like, what are you talking about? You never had like a toy house. I said, yeah, we lived in that big house, and I had a toy house. And you were 2 years old when that was on your birthday. How do you remember that, right? And the cake tasted of fish. It was like this weird chocolate cake where the main ingredients were dates. And me and my mother-in-law ate it, and I love my wife, but both me and my mother-in-law ate it, and we're like, this tastes like fish. And my mother-in-law goes like, yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I'm also surprised that she could remember things from when she was 2. I was up all night putting up like these decorations for her, and we bought this like little toy house, and we put like one of those big Kinder Eggs in there, and we had like all these things going on. And I remember I was like up all night working on this thing, and I went to bed. I couldn't wait for her to get up and see it, but I barely remember her reaction even, but she remembers it, right? I only have one memory from when I was 2. I don't think we can. Like, what's the earliest a human can remember? What's the earliest a human can remember? 2.5. Okay. Well, you know what? I shall stand corrected. If this is, true. I mean, this might be written by some asshole just making shit up. What do I know, right? But I also feel like the relevance of the information is enough for me to actually dig into it. I also have memories from when you were 3. How interesting. Yeah, that will scar you. Yeah, I hope that's the reason, right? I guess this will be like, so I was the youngest child, so I never got to experience that, right? 100% that photography or pictures will alter the way you remember things, Simon. Yeah, being the oldest, right? Oh, man. Oh, sorry. Oh, what a day. Man, I wish I could just get out of my head. Okay, so entry has been removed. So how do we get there? What we can do is we can debug. All right, we can start to debug here, and then we can break on Rust Panic. And then we can continue. And then we can go up from here. And let's see how far we can go here. So we're going to check out a value. We're doing this thing. This comes from the tree. We have a value in there. This is us ticking a component. So the component has been removed. But you're not happy with your old one, Ergo. I feel like you moved jobs just yesterday, right? I assume no, since you're looking for a new one, right? So we're back to taking components here. So we've applied futures. No, we're here. We've applied futures, which is kind of breaking. It's not kind of, it is breaking. But does this break? Wait, didn't I change this? Good grief. Where's the path? Oh, hang on. That was wait, that was removed? Okay. Whew. All right. So we're here instead. So we're gonna go back to this breakage instead. So we're back to this thing falling apart now. The entry has been removed. So we never get this path, yeah? Actually, we do. You know, why don't we just do the same thing again, right? We hop over to main. We're gonna break on Rust Panic. Thing is, I don't know if this is gonna be a difficult issue or not. But I need to piece everything together, which is the hard part. So again, we're taking a component, but the value doesn't exist anymore. So which value is it that doesn't exist? Is it the value ID? Is a generational key? Is this the issue? Maybe it's the components that aren't there anymore. So when we remove a value, we also need to remove it from the components. So that must happen at some point where this thing has a remove function. But it doesn't. How is this not a massive issue? It has no remove function. So we end up with this stack of index entries, but there's no source of truth for this. We can build it up, but we can never. That's just bananas. Because this thing is only done once. As far as I know. Let's go back to the run. Oh man, the plot thickens. So this would be something like tree apply visitor self components. And this just happens when we call an internal. This only happens once. How does this work? So I think I can prove that this is broken by doing this. We're gonna have a focus component on the value. So we're gonna have a struct item. And we're gonna implement component for item. And the state's gonna be item state because I am that lazy. And then here we're just gonna have a value of a use size. No, we can't do that. Actually, it's not relevant if we do or not. I think we get rid of this and we just change you to a unit and we keep external state. What is relevant though is the on focus. Actually, then we need to have a state. So let's bring that back. So we do this. And we can implement default for this. And not have to worry about it. And then here, what we'll do is we'll implement focus and blur. I think this will show what we need to see. So the item has a thing, and then here we're going to do a border. We'll just say if selected border background red, foreground black, else. Yeah, it's a bit gross to do this. Okay, and now we can't modify this on tick. Instead, we just have to... Okay. Oh man, okay, that is not happening. And I think it's not happening. Oh, hang on. Wow, that was odd. Actually, I think there is a study around this rebel that men and women behave differently in this regard. That was a little bit interesting. Difference between men and women tidying up. I wonder if there's like if this would get us somewhere. Or is this gonna lead to some kind of idiotic bigotry or misogynistic nonsense if we talk about this? So it's I'd leave you guys to look at it, but I think there was a study that showed that men and women work differently when it comes to things. But I am very chaotic when I'm in the supermarket. I do not shop by an optimized route, even though I should. But I hate being there, so I just want to grab stuff as quickly as possible and get out of there and forget half the things, right? Exactly. But my wife is very organized and she will do things. She will start at the vegetable section and then sort of move around the store in that sense. Whereas I'm like, I go straight to where the first thing is on my list, and then I do a quick scan of the list to see if there's anything on the list that is really close by. But this process disintegrates very quickly. What date is it now? Oh, hang on. 11 emails about failed runs. Thanks, Temporis. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't, but my wife does. But I think there's a difference in general between how people move through their house. Now, I don't have a house. I don't live in a mansion like Rebel does. Lives in a mansion, yet not subscribed. Okay, I'm just saying. And who needs a shopping list anyway? Well, unless you want to design a mnemonic for everything that you're gonna buy, I think most people. So I do a different order. When we do big shops, I do an order of like dry stuff and frozen and fresh stuff. So dry stuff gets bought first and then shoved into the car back in. And this is, we're talking about a big shop, right? We do a big shop once a month, right? And so you're not going to fit everything in the trolley. So big shop, do the dry stuff first, and then back in, do the fresh and frozen, and then get out of there, right? Mostly 5 things at once from the shop. I think unplanned shopping leads to poor economy, right? If there's one thing that I do think about and feel concerned about, it is my low cost of living and trying to maintain that. The moment that falls apart, the stream's gonna fall apart, right? Because ain't no way you can live on 65 viewers, right? I mean, you eat 2 of them and now you only have 63, right? Take 2 trolleys in and have 1 each. Londo, that sounds really boring. And what happens when you get to the checkout, right? Then you get to the checkout, you're gonna have to load the stuff. Remember that we're talking about full trolleys. So you're gonna unload the trolley and then pack the trolley. Whereas instead, we have 1 person unloading and 1 person packing, right? I always lie, right? I am a compulsory liar. I told you guys I program Rust. It's been no programming happening here. I need some, like, what do you guys do? What do you guys do to sort of like crank up your happiness? If you're feeling the melancholy kind of towering over you a little bit and you feel a little bit like, ugh, right? What do you guys do for fun? What do you guys do to lighten the mood and, you know, get excited? I go shoot people in the face. Yeah, I couldn't get Warframe working, Temporis. I need to get back into that, but that felt like work. Walk outside for a bit. Ew, touching grass. No wonder you struggle with semicolon. Watch a very sad movie, then you feel relatively happy afterwards. I don't think that works for me. I would feel sad afterwards. Listen to music and toggle bit. Yeah, I don't know if I want to listen to myself, but music I'm already listening to. It's not helping. I've already been to the gym. My wife is at work, and I can't justifiably play games, right? That's one thing. While I have things I have to do, I cannot sit down and justifiably play games, okay? It's between streaming and YouTube videos. Now, those are my only choices. Games are not on the menu. I used to do raves once a month, but it's a bit rough after 4 a.m. Yeah, I don't think you guys are gonna see me at a rave anytime soon. It's been a long time since I went to a garage party. I'm kidding, Rebel. Yeah, the UK has lots of beautiful parks, right? Go do something with your kid and get out yourself. But then I have to take her out of school, and that's not okay. Play Tetris. Tetris is alright, I guess. That's the wrong way around. You need to justify why you aren't playing games. Well, because I need to grow my stream temporis, and the way to do that, I've mused, is by making YouTube content to pull in those YouTube suckers into Twitch, right? So while I'm not doing that, I should at least be streaming, right? Play games sometimes, program random stuff, talk, watch YouTube. Yeah. Hello, Charlie. I play with my dot files. Yeah, that's a never-ending game, right? Buy a new keyboard. No, that's not in the cards. I'd love to, Rebel. I saw an Alice 80, was it, yesterday? The one with like the dirt gray look. And I was like, I wonder if I would like want to try. I haven't tried one of these. They had like a retro looking one, but I don't think this is in the cards for me. I'm sorry. Alice Cooper. If I close my eyes forever. With, what's her name? Alice Cooper and Rita. What's her name? You know the song. I don't eat snacks because an ice cream, to me, the calorie count, knowing about the calorie count would reduce the pleasure of the ice cream. Lita Ford, that's the one, not Rita. Lita Ford, thank you, Scott. That was a quality song, you know. Leave your wallet at home and go to Best Buy. But are you promoting shoplifting? Have you tried watering your stream? I don't get it, Temporis. I'm too dumb. The joke has just... I like my house split far too much for that, Alice, but I just wonder what it would be like. Should a manager make it count down every second, or should you use a stopwatch and take away how much time has run and the total time to get time remaining? That seems more accurate to me, Dawson. You need to... Oh, I see. You need to grow it. Yeah. Have you noticed that it's actually shrinking, Temporis? But that's okay. I keep telling myself, that's okay. I gotta get out of that headspace again, right? Okay, so we're trying to fix a bug. Well, I'm trying to fix a bug. But the tabbing doesn't work. And I think that's because I can't even Control-C this thing. Something is really wrong. Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm supposed to be on 2,700 calories a day. So I could eat an ice cream and not really suffer for it in that sense. But when I eat something, the question is, will this make me feel good this instant and then shit afterwards? Or will this make me feel good throughout the day? And most things that will give you an instant release of happiness, like ice cream, chocolate, snacks in general, they are only going to give you that happiness very momentarily. And then afterwards, your body's not going to feel good, and subsequently your mind's not going to feel good from it, right? Yeah, it's a momentary win, but it's not a long-term goal, right? Infinite Runner. Isn't it the sewer surfer that everyone's asking about? So we can't... there is a bigger problem here. We can't tab between... Oh, now I know why this thing is so jank. We're running at 1 frames per second. Yeah, now... Okay, so... But tabbing still doesn't work. Right, so tabbing doesn't work in there. That's the same thing as with Ice Cream Rebel. This is just a momentary release of brain dolphins, maybe, or dopamine. I feel like people get dopamine and dolphins confused sometimes, but maybe it's like a momentary release and happiness, but no, it's not long until this becomes like guilt-driven thing where like you have all the side projects that you don't advance, and like the way you're gonna get happy is to make another side project, and then you don't advance that, and now you feel guilty about that. You shouldn't feel guilty about it, but a lot of people do. To me, I take pride in the fact that I've almost released something and I've worked on for a long time, and that puts me in a position where I can be happy about something I've done. But it certainly isn't a short-term happiness. Periodically remove projects. I have the temp directive for that. When problem appeared, time for a new side project. Yeah. So in the end, you have like 30 side quests that are all stuck on a terribly depressing problem, right? You have no project, you have to start one. The only other thing I can work on is gonna be the Twitch, the network library, but I have to rethink so many things there, and it's not really that fun. But today is not about fun, evidently. So here we are, right? So what I just realized is that the components aren't added in there. In given a for loop, maybe what happens if we do this? Actually, let's get rid of this and just say hi there. Tabbing isn't working no matter what we do. I think this is a flaw. I don't know how we're gonna solve this. Oh, Privan, are you still here? Did you figure out what you're gonna write about? Okay, we can't tab into these because they don't exist in the component. So we have a deeper problem. This is doing nothing for my happiness. Okay, this is doing the opposite. Okay. Damn it. So these components aren't added because they're prototypes. But I do get enjoyment from doing this. I want this to exist, so I get enjoyment from working on this thing. I get enjoyment from seeing other people use this and it bringing value to them. There is a lot of enjoyment to come from this, but it cannot all be enjoyment. If there was no struggle, then everyone would do this thing. But there is a reason why people don't spend 2 years on a side quest that becomes their life, right? There's reasons for that. You're welcome. Thanks, Dottie. I think what has happened, Dottie, is that you've uncovered a bigger problem. If we were to make this into actual types like this, and we don't do this as a prototype, but we do this as a component. Oh, really? All right, yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh, no. Idiot warning. I forgot to set the state. No. Okay, fine. This thing is just gonna be item. And this is gonna be... Whoops. Default. Now, this might still not work. Oh, well, heck no. It's an even bigger issue now. No, it's not. It's an issue because I did mistakes. It is working. Okay. Whew. That was a bit silly. Okay, so how can we do this then? Does it mean that the items exist inside the tree or not? Let's have a look at where the tabs are being applied. Build a tree, build the tab indices. Okay. So in the global event handling, that's where things will take place. Do you guys enjoy the number of arguments we have in there? 14 arguments. Again, this is things that's going to be fixed. That is unnecessarily kind of you to say, Priven. I was going to go onto my YouTube and show you how everything I get now is a day in the developer of, but then there was nothing. There was no a day in the developer this time. Feel down, do something. That's a general thing to do. Like, it's like, are you unhappy? Well, do what my friend does. What's that? When he stops being unhappy. Ah, I see where I gone wrong. You have some more videos? I'll ping them my way, Priven. I'll have a look. But it's really... But that's already been done, right? But honestly, I hate the video project that I'm working on. It's not funny. I don't like my own humor in it. And I'm getting really like, I think I need help. Okay, professional help. Oh, my wife is, she gets to, the thing is, I don't like to bother her with this stuff, right? So, there are two types of people in the world. There are obviously more, but in this context, there are two types of people. There are the kind of person who will feel something, and they will go away and be alone in the corner and deal with their feelings. Then there are the type of people who feel something, and the way they move forward is by vocalizing this, by saying, I'm feeling a bit miserable. I don't know what to do. I feel aimless in my life. I feel like it's not going anywhere. I'm invested way too much time in this side project. This is a hypothetical, right? And that's how they deal with it, right? I am like that. So I will go up to my wife, and especially when she's sitting in the reading corner, and I lean against the bookcase and I go, how you doing? And she slowly looks up from her book, raises an eyebrow, and it's just waiting for me to start talking so she can ignore me. All right. Okay, let's see what you got. I'm looking at the last characters, right? You did get me with the Rickroll yesterday. I've seen this. I think I've seen this already. This was one of the videos that turned up. Includes paid promotions. This was one of the videos that turned up after you've linked it. I think. I'm just gonna, yeah. So those of you watching on YouTube, let's see how many there are of you. 0. Okay, let's not worry then. All right, let's see whether they get to the point. There's just someone riding around. I saw one about this dude's just biking around. Is there like no talking in this? And we're like 2 minutes 20 and the guy hasn't said anything. Oh, there you go. All right. I haven't seen this part, but I'm gonna make an assumption here that what we're seeing here is gonna be JavaScript and HTML. No, not with that. Maybe. I'm guessing JavaScript. This is a JavaScript programmer. Can we get to see the monitor a little bit larger? Oh, look, they made a dashboard. Everyone needs the dashboard. Slack. All right, show us some code, dude. Not judging though. Like, you write JavaScript, that's on you. But it's just everyone who does these videos just seem to be do JavaScript, right? All right. And we can't really read the code. We can't read the code, but I feel like confident that we're looking at JavaScript here. Coding can be quite boring to watch. You're telling me, okay? You're telling me. I'm the kind of people that don't feel something, but that's nice, right? I am super sensitive. When the bunny died, I cried. And today I was working out and I was listening to a podcast by Butterscotch, Coffee with Butterscotch, and he just in the passing just mentioned, oh yeah, like when you take your pet to the vet, and I'm standing there like, funny, right? Probably one of my more manlier moments in life, but it's just I'm so sensitive and I really hate it. And it makes me angry sometimes. I wish I could just turn it off, right? I envy the serial killers of the world, right? Patience is the most important place in life where you need patience is as a parent, not as a software developer. And also, I don't think people, okay, controversy coming your way. I don't think I qualify JavaScript developers as patient, right? They can't literally wait for the next thing to come out, right? Go to TwitchCon for once? Maybe. It's difficult for me to get away, okay? So I've been doing streaming for some years. And this is not, okay, let me skip some boring stuff. Anyway, I've been doing streaming for like 4 years now. I've had some consulting work in between, but not a lot. And my wife is super cool with this. She's like, yeah, you gotta do what makes you happy, right? And I'm the same way. I tell her, yeah, you gotta do what makes me happy. But the thing is, if I were to piss off to like a conference or something like that for like a week to leave her, she's about to embark on a new journey in life as well, right? If I were to leave her as single parent while dealing with her job, her commute, the kid, so I can go to TwitchCon, I feel like that's a little bit like asking my wife to babysit our kid while I go and have an affair, okay? That's just not in the cards, right? So because my wife is doing this for me. And I know I married the right woman, okay? Because she said yes, and I don't have any standards. But she's like, yeah, you wanna do your grown-up job, right? Or whatever. You wanna sit in front of your camera and talk to yourself, then go for it, right? I support you. She's never gonna watch the stream, but she's cool with it, right? I can't, I know part of me, so there's two things I want to do to succeed in life, right? One, what I qualify as success. And one is to get one of those YouTube buttons, okay? That's not for me. I want to get, because my kid loves YouTube. Like, she's like, oh, YouTube this, YouTube that, and I'm watching like these things, and it would be such an amazing thing for me to be able to get that stupid play button and put it in her room and say, that's an authentic play button. Like, you can have that in your room. That, to me, I know how much that would blow her mind. All right. And that's one of the things that I really want to do that for her. The other thing is, I really want to succeed so I can give my wife what I think she deserves, because she has put up with my bullshit for many, many years. Okay. When my kid was born, around that time, I was running my own business. Some days I was working 14-hour days, and that is not admirable. That's being a shit father and a shit husband, okay? All right? Working hard to support your family, great, but your family needs more than money, okay? Not every day, but yeah, so that was like not cool. No, I want to be able to give my wife what she deserves for having put up with all my bullshit over the years, right? No, that's not really child-specific content, right? You blow my mind if we go to a spa together. Privan, one day I'll come over and we go to a spa. But wasn't that spa like $250, right? If I'm supposed to raise money to treat my wife by not as a one-term thing, but becoming successful in a space, then I can't waste the money going to a spa, right? Did you say you start a YouTube channel or started streaming on a different... I have, right? I have a YouTube channel now. I'm trying to make a video, but apparently I'm not very good. Family needs rust in their life. 100% correct. This is so true. We're going to pin that, right? We can do hot... There's a surprising amount of people who's offered to come and do hot tub streams with me, okay? I take that as a compliment. All right, let's see if there's anything here. Coding is slow. Yeah, especially if you don't do any coding and you talk to people instead. Maybe I need to get everyone together. We do one big pool party. Yeah, there you go, right? Wait. What did he just say? Oh, yeah. Debug some tedious code, another developer role, because I don't contribute to that, okay? Own up to your mistakes now, Brian. Okay. Oh no, some other developer wrote this legacy code. When did the code become legacy anyway, right? Let me remind you that we saw his screen over here. All right, we've seen his screen over here somewhere as well. All right, over here. I don't see an awful lot of comments in here though, right? Unless the code is the comments, okay? Maybe this is just one big comment, okay? You know, I feel like someone's throwing rocks around the abundance of glass here, right? You should see the LinkedIn engineer who got so much shit for making a day in the life video. They were coding for 1 hour and had fecal and shit. Fecal and shit. But are you truly aware how does happiness for your family look like? Because sometimes sometimes we think we do know, but in fact it's not accurate. Like I said, I am a very sensitive individual. I can tell most of the time when someone in my family is in a state they don't want to be in, okay? I say to my kid, how you doing, sweetie? How was school today? And I know how she answers me, right? She goes, it was fine. And I know So I say, okay, now that's a lie. What really happened? And she looks at me and she goes, how do you know? I said, because I'm a dad. I know, right? I don't always know. I miss details, but I know. The same thing with my wife. It's everything. I know what kind of day she has had based on the sound of her steps in the hallway, right? And that's not unique to me. This is what happens when you live with other people, right? You become attuned to their behaviors, okay? It's just how it is. So I don't pretend to know exactly how my family members are feeling at any given moment in time. I don't know what they feel like now. They're not around me. They're not talking to me. They're not interacting with me, and they're not giving me any feedback, right? And I'm not responsible for their happiness. I'm responsible for my child's well-being, but I'm not responsible for my wife's happiness. But that doesn't mean that's something that I don't want to give her, right? I want her to be happy, and I want to be able to provide her with things that makes her happy, right? I want to be able to give her a life that works for her because of all that she has given me, right? It became legacy when it got pushed to live. My code is impetuous. My peers are impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. What? Syntax highlighted comment. Hello, Skylar. Also, look at how empty and clean the office is. No ergonomics in that workspace. But that's two different countries mentioned here, though, Preman, right? Sounds like childhood trauma. I got bullied at school. Well, the thing is, I don't know what getting bullied is these days, okay? If a kid walks up to another kid and says, listen, you're a head, then the other kid would be like, you're bullying me. Kids even claim that teachers are bullying them because they're telling off the students. I don't even know how to qualify bullying. To me, when I grew up, getting bullied was something that was pretty spot on. It wasn't about insulting someone or offending someone, right? It was causing a situation where, well, we're not going to get into defining bullying, but I don't know what it is anymore. Anyway. My parents weren't bullying. My parents were all right. They were decent parents. I was an asshole kid, though. I have some childhood trauma, but nothing that's exciting to talk about, right? They tried to teach us Rust, and now I'm depressed at the state of the industry. Sorry, son. We'll see to it. I take a look at my goats' shit, and I know if they're fine. Well, I mean, that's it. Do they eat? Are they eating regularly? What's the input-output of the goat? If you have a goat that has very little input or a lot of input but no output, then you know you got a dodgy goat. All right, I'm hopping down. I think trauma is way overused now. Yeah. But like with everything, words change meaning over time, right? A lot of you guys think that C is a low-level language, right? Words change meaning. Hustle culture. Oh, hang on. What was that? That was a cool reflection in the window. There's like this little square up in the corner that just caught my eye. This thing. All right. Anyway, it's not that interesting. Well, hang on. So if the hustle is getting you down, and you're feeling like the weight of the work is kind of too much, why the would you go and start a side project? Boss, this work is too much for me. I can't handle it. I'm gonna go over there and start a new job that is not paid. Okay, what? Okay. Now, I'm being facetious. Obviously, doing something else might be an attempt to revigorate your love for programming. Maybe working at a company is kind of grinding you down a little bit. But here's the thing. It doesn't, okay? It doesn't work that way. You're not dealing with a problem at hand, right? This is like, I'm getting burnout from work. I'm going to become a vegan. I'm getting burnout from work. I'm going to start going to the gym. If the burnout or the overwhelming sense of losing yourself in whatever it is, or whatever it is that is happening, if that is a result of an individual or a workload, okay, then you need to address the individual or the workload. You becoming a vegan is not going to change that, right? And unless you go to the gym and then you get like jacked and then you punch the guy, but that's rarely going to lead down the garden path of happiness either, right? Oh, my wife does not care about this. I used to buy her flowers. I used to walk into the city every week and buy my wife flowers. And I'd go home. I'd do the grocery shopping, go to greengrocers, go to the supermarket. On the way home, I would buy some flowers. I'd walk back up to where we lived. Come home, put the groceries away, give her some flowers. And one day, she's like, I was like, you don't like the flowers? She goes, no, they're always in the way. I'm like, do you want me to stop buying you flowers? Yeah, they don't do anything for me, right? My wife don't care about that. She doesn't care. Spending a lot of time on a meal, she's going to be like, oh, that's nice, but it wasn't worth the effort. Spending a lot of money on food, she's going to be like, well, that's nice, but it's not worth the money, right? She's way too pragmatic for that. Hustle is in every industry, absolutely. Isn't that like not being happy in your marriage and starting an affair? What, cooking for my wife? My wife is never, all right, I'm gonna leave it. Because it's not hard to buy flowers. It is when you have to walk some distance to get the flowers, it is. Minxie has threatened to leave me if I buy flowers for her. Yeah. I totally get that, right? Like, some people don't like flowers. I, for instance, would just be uncomfortable if someone bought me flowers. Like, why are you buying me flowers? What am I supposed to do with them, right? Yeah. I used to give my partner flowers and she always was happy. And then I started to buy her McDonald's after work and now she's talking about marriage. There you go, man. No, starting aside, I'm losing context. Yes, okay, I got it, Intricate. Yeah, why not, right? To fix your marriage, you start an affair. I like that, Intricate. Nicely put. My middle child, because of my health, is planned to have done certain things at certain times, so I'll be there for those moments. I was told this by my wife. I realize the most important thing for them is to show up. Yes, just be there. It's a very big thing, right? I bought a girl flowers. The response I got, couldn't you buy something useful like a hard drive? That seems right. That seems right. That's good. Remember, guys, if I miss something, you have this thing, okay? You can paste your message that I missed in here and redeem this thing, okay? No, they're deeply ingrained in our culture as humans, okay? I mean, do either of you exist in a system outside of capitalism, right? I saw Joe Neal, but I saw a house and I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at because I don't know the games. I didn't say anything. No one can argue with chives, man. I wish I had some chives. We might say F capitalism, but it's still there. I don't think. The thing is, if you want a life where that doesn't have hustle and work, then you have to adapt your lifestyle to it, right? I find it really hard to feel any sympathy with anyone who's earning 80 to 100,000 a year, 150,000 a year, living in a big city, working at some company, grinding away, and then complaining about the hustle and all that stuff, right? Be like, oh, I work for Microsoft and it's so stressful. My company bought Ferrari broke down yesterday, and like my own office, the windows are dirty because the window cleaner only comes in 3 times a week, and I'm so overwhelmed by my task. Go and become a fucking gardener then. I'd stop crying. No one made you a software developer, right? Like, yeah, okay, calm down. You're of course allowed to be stressed or whatever, right? But I kind of feel like there seem to be so many videos talking about the grind and the stress and crunch time and all these things, right? And there's only so much sympathy to go around. Meanwhile, you got people who are like scraping together like weed metal bowls to sell for pennies to make a living. And I'm like, yeah, now that guy has a grind, okay? You have a well-paid job and you're not setting boundaries with your boss, okay? Do you think you're going to get fired if you go up to your boss and go, look, I'm getting overwhelmed by all these tasks, right? I'm here for 8 hours a day, but stop calling me after 7 o'clock, all right? Good work, Dawson. As a kid from Africa, I agree. People complain too much for doing software engineering, which to me is luxury learning to code and I have to do manual labor. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, so did you guys ever, first of all, right? Did you guys ever watch Letterkenny? And the guy goes, think about the starving children in Africa, and the other guy goes, okay, name 6. But that aside, right? Because that's always the argument people use. But honestly, I can't have sympathy for people who work in an office like this, clearly makes 10 times as much as I do per year, right? Sitting there with a coffee table book, you know, flicking through their like street photography or whatever, right? Complaining about the grind and the hustle. You don't know anything about a grind and hustle at that point, do you? Actually, that is incredibly incorrect of me to say. That is an invalid statement to make, because just because you work at a large company making decent money, and yes, of course, I'm making assumptions, but just because you do that doesn't mean that you're not subject to stress, burnout, and all these things. But there's like, if I have to divide my sympathy, very little of it's gonna go to this guy, okay? The guy's got more subscribers than me on YouTube. No, he gets no sympathy, okay? Yeah. All right. And that's one of those things that Scott Hanselman did in a talk that made me feel a little bit like, ugh, I don't like you anymore, Scott. But there you go. If you don't like the situation, change it. Yes, and not by becoming a vegan or start doing CrossFit or going to the gym or taking up Taekwondo or whatever, right? No, you need to address the problem. And people aren't unreasonable, right? I think that is very cool, Sam. When they do JavaScript, it's got to be one of the easiest languages out there. So that's hard to say, right? It's easy to rag on it, but it's hard to say what life is like there because I don't actually know. Those people working hard to earn lots of money, they complain they have no time, work less, value. Yeah, okay? And I mean, the thing is, I know for a fact that you have a farm to tend to, Crispy, on top of programming. So yeah, you got busy times, right? Who doesn't like you, Scott? Eat burgers, stop going to the gym. Well, that's probably not my recommendation. Working from coffee shop for the rest of the day, so don't watch the rest of your stream. Have a good day. All right, cheers, cat peasant. Enjoy. And I've got a few languages now. I think the JS is pretty much the easiest. Yeah, I mean, JavaScript isn't a high barrier of entry. It is not a difficult language to get rolling in. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, that sucks. And some people expect you to do work in your commute. Those people can suck a tailpipe. Can you recommend one that you've seen in the past, Rebel? Because I want to know what jokes are and aren't funny. All right? Tailpipe. Exhaust pipe. You don't have to learn new things. I think as developers, we just like to learn new things. That's part of our nature, isn't it? You don't You don't have to, you don't turn up for work and your boss says, what did you learn today? Oh, Kevin, you didn't learn anything. Well, you know what? Kevin, I'll axe you now. Right? Programming. It's the exhaust pipe of a car. And I still don't care what Next.js is. I used the 40 kilo dumbbells for shoulder press today. I want to sleep now. Hot damn, man. I did dumbbell curls with 12.5 kilos today, Bulov. But we're talking straight arms, okay? No other motions but the curl. Next.js is horrible. Take your word for it. This guy has some good takes. You say good takes, but I'm hoping they're funny though, right? Kevin was always dead weight. No, you don't have to learn. You want to learn. No, this is so wrong. Oh my God. I am losing my fucking mind when people say this. The industry moves so fast. It doesn't. There's groups, there's part of the industry that moves fast. Look at the Linux kernel. Do you think that moves fast? Look at established software that's been around for years. Do you think that moves fast? Right? No, it doesn't. It's just this one space that people are hell-bent on destroying with poor choices that moves fast, but it's not moving fast. It's sort of like it's a constant motion forward over the dead bodies of your friends fast, right? It's like if I stop moving, I die. I have to climb over these dead bodies, which are the frameworks, right? It's just no. It doesn't move that fast. You are making it move that fast in this very small space, right? Yeah, there are people that like, oh, I can't even stress this. Like, this is such a one-track mind that would say something like this, right? Okay, so you're complaining about the hustle and you're complaining about the grind, but then other people enjoy jobs where they can coast. Well, if the grind isn't for you, then go and get a job about coasting, whatever that is, right? Oh, I didn't think I was gonna get this riled up by this, and obviously this dude is doing well, man. I'm sure he's like a super cool dude. Don't get me wrong, right? It's just the things that I'm hearing are like, okay. I choose this, but I'm complaining about it, right? I bought this shirt, but it's itchy. It's not. You don't know anything about doing the same thing because you program JavaScript, okay? Let's be clear here. What do you know about doing the same thing, okay? I'm memeing, okay? Calm down. Yeah, it's not gonna move fast, okay? Yeah, it sounds very much like things that are within my control to change, but I'm gonna complain about. But okay, remember what I said yesterday. This is just content. The guy's just making content. I'm just making content. Okay, there's nothing else to be taken away from this. It's not like you shouldn't turn around and be like, all right, this dude hates JavaScript. So he probably hates me if I like JavaScript. Not at all. Enjoy JavaScript. It's good. I like people who program. I like programmers, right? But if you're not a programmer, check out that coffee machine as well. Oh my God. I'm gonna hurt my back having endless coffee from a machine that costs more than people make in most countries per year, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. We'll fix that, Johnny. Let me just drop one of these pods in here. All right, let me just use my Nespresso machine so we can give these people more money so they can go and charge Canadians for water, right? Let's do that. Look at this thing. Oh my God, it's like the coffee takes too long to make. It took 2 minutes and it was too warm. I'm kidding, man. This guy said nothing about that, right? That's nothing to do with anything. Dear Togglebit, we hate you. Oh, thanks. Development can be lonely. Yeah, I mean, I think isn't that why we watch Twitch, right? I'm not going to argue with this. I'm going to try not to be so abrasive, right? Because again, I'm just making content, okay? I'm sure this dude is like a super chill dude, right? Development can be lonely. Yeah, I mean, but that's why we have Twitch. But before we go into like development can be lonely, was there anyone out there who went like, oh my God, I have to work from home. What a nightmare. I don't get to be in the office sitting next to marketing and sales. My life is so empty now. Was there anyone out there who felt that way? Everyone's like, oh no, COVID, we can't come into the office? Oh no, what a problem. What a palaver, right? You like to not work from home? Yeah. So there are people who like to go into the office, and a lot of companies do offer like, yeah, you can go into the office and work and all that stuff, right? But I think the majority of programmers were like, oh no, I have to work from home. What a problem, right? I started to do improv and take piano lessons. I mean, first of all, that's really cool, Voltbit. But no, I think the loneliness is real, and I think development can be lonely, and it is lonely, right? Sometimes I wake up, I go and sit down here on my own, and I just stare at the screen, wondering where my youth went. But it is preferred by a lot of people, though, right? Yeah, I get it. I get that people do, right? I am 100% understand that people. I've worked with someone who wasn't good at working from home. He wanted to go into the office, right? It's everyone's prerogative, right? Well, that's how you build your social skills, though, right? You're here, Johnny. You're not alone. You're with us now. There's no loneliness in chat. If you feel lonely, I'll just ban you. Don't drag everyone down. I'm kidding. See, we never get to see his code, right? But spaces too. There you go. JavaScript. It's confirmed. It's confirmed now, okay? Can you code using that chair for 2 hours? No. I was going to make a really bad joke about having to use my fingers and a keyboard, but no comp, right? This chair is not comfortable to sit in for. No chair is comfortable to sit in for 2 hours. I don't think you should sit still for 2 hours, right? VS Code user, yeah. How you doing, Johnson? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it is good to work in an office. Honestly, if I had it, like my dream is to have a studio, right? Like a big room for my streaming, my music, which I don't do anymore, my woodworking, photography, videography, all of this stuff. It would be such a dream to have this like vast, empty space that you can just turn into whatever you want, right? Fit the lights into the ceiling, mount the cameras wherever you want to, right? All this stuff, not having the limitations of what a habitable house gives you, right? Which is a lot worse, right? Yeah, I'm not very good. And the next project I have to do is gonna be next project I have to do is gonna be a squat wedge. So that's gonna be like 3 pieces of wood glued together with some support. All right. Let's see what this thing is. Programmers are also human. Oh, okay. Yeah, but this is like the only one. This is the only one that people link. Do you guys know another one that is... so this is more of a... This is more like a sketch, right? You know, it's funny, but... yeah, I don't know. The only fun is still active. Really? So they kind of set the bar, did they? Should we do a little bit of programming? I just don't feel it today. I feel like programming is just a chore. It's the loneliness, right? It's the loneliness. I'm sorry, I'm being a dick. Very interesting, but for self-leisure. Okay, what is this thing then? Sometimes, Johnny. Oh, God damn it. Optimizing code. Oh, computer file. Yeah, these aren't particularly funny, but yeah. Oops. All right, let's grab some splishy splashy and get on with it. So there are jokes that are very close to the surface. You don't have to dig very deep for the punchline. Then you got jokes that are a little bit more involved and requires a little bit more investment to really get to the punchline. And it's really tempting to make basic jokes. It's really tempting. If your jokes are too obscure, then people don't get them. And it's not because you're smart. You have failed to deliver the joke, right? You made it too obscure. I think the balance is really hard to strike. Tech roast. All right, you know what? I'm feeling so not interested in programming right now. I'll just do it, right? Why work when they'll pay you millions anyway? Microsoft chief design officer gets roasted. This looks so dark and mean, but let's have a quick look. It's for the best. No, Athena, I don't know that. But please link. If I watch this, which thing? Is this a, oh my god. Okay. So you have to change. There are so many alternatives, okay? But most people recognize this, right? No. You don't have to sub. I'm not going to watch that. Let's chuck this in there as well. I feel like that's a quote, right? That's a quote. Shipping is a bad idea sometimes if you're making so much money. Would you watch 40 minutes? No, I wouldn't watch long form content like that. I don't watch hours and hours of video on educational topics. I find and read instead. It doesn't work for me because I start to forget. So no, it wouldn't. And if it's not for me to learn how Git works, then the video holds no value to me. They're looking him up on LinkedIn as well. He's got a point. Talk about being detached, man. So when are you guys gonna edit and update my videos and Wikipedia article? And when are you guys gonna do this? Someone needs to do that, right? One of you have to update my Facebook profile. Come on, what are you guys doing? That was funny. Oh, I've seen this one. I've seen this one. Yeah, all right. We're turning into just chatting here, aren't we? Holy. Give me the deets. They just make shit up, man. I don't use Nix or Sam now. Oh yeah, no, that's totally individual, right? How you learn is obviously different from person to person, right? I mean, this is a well-known thing, right? We found the middle of the road to incorporate as many people as possible. We built the school curriculum around this, but that does not encompass everyone. Like the school system for learning, the repetitive process and all that stuff is not perfect, all right? Some people, and we're skipping that now because I don't want to have that conversation. Some people learn really well from watching videos, right? They can take in and consume the information. Although I would argue if you're trying to do something practical, if you don't practice while you're watching, you are doing nothing. You're fooling yourself. If you learn through watching videos or learn through reading, it doesn't really matter as long as you learn and as long as you practice what you learn, right? The problem with videos for me, videos are really useful when it comes to graphical programming, right? It's graphics programming, because you'll be like, oh, look, my triangle is upside down. Well, temporal is to the left, but you make a triangle and like it's supposed to like have different shades from whatever RGB rainbow. And you can see that in the video, so you know what to expect, even though arguably they'll include screenshots of this, but the video might actually help you connect more with the subject, right? But if we're talking about something like how Git works, and the only reason I would watch a video on how Git works is because I want to write an implementation of Git. The video is probably not going to help me, and the beginning of the video is going to be lost on me when we're in the middle of the end, right? What am I looking at here? The magic of... UI design intern unpaid. You're changing jobs. Everyone does, Joe Neal. No, so if you have a generally high IQ, you might be one of these people who will read something once and it sticks with you. My wife is like that. You don't need to explain anything to her more than once, right? If you do, she will angrily leave the room. I, on the other hand, need constant repetition of things, right? I'm at the bottom of the gene pool here. I learned woodworking in videos. Yes, that's a practical thing that I've consumed a lot of video. Workout is also a lot of video. I have the book Starting Strength. I haven't read it. I'm not that interested in it. Yes. So to me, like learning woodworking, this would be things like learning about the dados or learning about, you know, don't screw into the end grain or whatever it is. It's like very specific things. Woodworking, I don't know anything in woodworking that could equate to learning Git. I don't know a process in woodworking that has that many steps and is that complicated, right? Doesn't say that it doesn't exist. I just don't know about it, right? It's some YouTube music. Yeah, that too. I code like a caveman, like with painting on the wall. Brute force unsorted list. How's it going, Smithy? How you doing? Oh, right. The Weissman score. I remember that. That's all good. I just had to say I read things wrong. Changing the font, Dawson, to something like Open Dyslexic. Is it irony that I can't spell dyslexic? But open dyslexic, changing to this font might help. I mean, maybe you already do, right? Or Comic Sans. I'm sure at this part of your life you already know this, but I'll say it anyway. The man who wrote Task Manager. I don't think this would be interesting to me to watch. I like what's the interesting part of this? It's the garage dude. Yeah, we looked at his stuff the other day. He has definitely fixed his lighting here, which is good. But this guy has so much RGB, I get seizures from just thinking about it. But I know of the guy since from yesterday, or whatever it was. Not yesterday, but yeah. Dovetail joints properly. Even dovetail joints aren't that many steps, right? I think even conceptually, I think we could explain dovetail joints with a graphic. All right. I feel like an infographic could explain this. And yes, there are different techniques for how to achieve this, but I feel like this would not warrant a 40-minute video on how to do dovetail joints. They can look very nice though, and very satisfying to make. So yeah. But I still don't think this would be 40 minutes, right? So you can get it all in one. But hang on, this is just showing you how to do them, right? So it's not the same as knowing how to cut these. Obviously not, right? So for this part, you need a router bit that you need to use, right? Either that or you're gonna do a lot of work with the chisel for the inner part. But yeah. I have one of there's a Japanese saw, and I recommend this saw to anyone who hasn't tried this and are into woodworking. These ones are so good. These ones cut on the upstroke, not the downstroke. And they are very thin and flexible. And I think this is the best saw that I have ever used. I don't even remember the name of it. That's not the name. But they are just so good. These saws. I wish I saw the name of it, but it's not that either. Japanese pull saw. Yeah, but this one cuts when you pull, not when you push, like a traditional European saw, if that's a thing. Yeah, absolutely, Rebel. Very good. It also messes up a lot of website layouts. Yeah, man, dovetails are the worst for web development. Have you checked out Monospace Neon yet? Yeah, no, I never tried to use. I did install it. I actually could do now, maybe. Let's do this. So we go into config, alacrity, and we're gonna edit the config here and see if we can change this to Monospace. No. It just so okay, let's be able to try this. Okay, let's do font cache C short form named. Okay, I didn't think Windows had a thing called font cache. Now I don't want to rebuild it. Force, really force. It would be FC list though, right? FC list that you use. But we're interested in the name of the font, right? Maybe we can do a verbose output of it. Actually, let's just make a new one. FC list. So I get all this Mona spice, but I don't know if that's the right thing. It's all Mona spice, not Monos. What was it called again? Mona Space, all right? So we did install Mona Space, didn't we? Maybe not. Now we have Mona Space, although I'm not sure this will... No. I don't know how this is gonna work. No. Okay, sorry. Let me go through. Revel, you can start here with the getting started, and then you just ask questions if you get stuck. Yeah, well, it still shows if it breaks it. I haven't tried it though. I am not, but my wife used to work as a teacher, so we talk a lot about things. So I know a lot of, I don't know a lot. I know about dyslexia. I know about the challenges. I know about a bunch of other things that affect children and what you can do to help with these things. And one of them is to use Comic Sans as a font, right? That's why I know about these things. You only update the bold font. Yes, we've fixed that. Why are fonts always a pain? I don't know. That is the right thing. Name is protected. Nerd Fonts has to rename it. Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Every font looked like shit. Try Mona Space Neon. We're not supposed to have to give like multiple. That was it. All right. Should we try Mona Space today then? Come on, man. So would this be Mona Spice Neon then? I think to get the nerd fonts, we have to use Mona Spice. Is not it. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's difficult. I'm not feeling like I'm loving this. It's a bit too wide for my liking. But I'll try with it for a little bit. I'm using NeoVim, yeah. Ryobasaur, thank you. That's the word. Do eat. I want to eat too. We're solving a bug now, Smathy, but we're also doing a bunch of nonsense. You should be able to change the width, but I couldn't figure out how. I think that's pretty much in the font at this point. So if we go between this and hack, I think the width is, yeah, it's smaller and not as wide. But I'm going to try this for a little bit. I might have to, well, I mean, the font size being larger is not going to be a problem for you guys, though, right? I don't see you guys complaining about that. It's it rubs me the wrong way because I've used the hack font for many years, but I'll try, right? That was not changing files. That was changing workspace and programs. So these are different programs that I'm changing. We're going to move this out like that. Fun looks like it's at the bottom of the grocery bag. Back and all right. Okay. I'm really hungry, but we're not gonna go and eat yet, right? Food is for closers and winners, okay? I don't get to eat yet. That's a very healthy attitude. Don't confuse changing files with changing workspaces and programs, right? So this is literally me changing between two programs, right? I'm jumping between Firefox and terminals here. To change files, I would use something like Control P, right? Or I go to another tab, or I use Tmux to start another terminal because the thing I'm working with exists in another project. It really depends on what it is I'm doing, right? So there's nothing to do with changing files. The only thing that's about changing files is this, or alternatively, this. But this is something I only use when I'm exploring a project for the first time. Control P. Yeah, I have something bound to Control P. So if we do nmap C P, we can see what's bound there. It's fzf. So running fzf will do this. But, Smathy, if you're new to Vim, I will tell you that you need to install fzf, right? Control P at 73, you see? It's not just me. Now leave it be. Okay, so we managed to do this, so we can now tab between windows. So that makes me think that they will exist inside the component collection. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to tab to them. But let's verify that is the case, right? So the global event, where's the event handling? Somewhere we're doing, here we do event handling. So let's go to the global event handling. And in here, I need your F thingy F. Okay, so you make a binding, you install the fzf plugin, right? So let's find Vim fzf. You're gonna have to install the fzf program as well. And then you want this thing. And then you need to bind it to Control P, and how I done that. You can see on GitHub. Near Vim. And we can look at the no Lua code most likely. So we're going to find fzf. And there it is. And then you do that in your Vim config. And that's how you do it. Okay. So I just have this one there in case I want to change the font. We don't need that anymore. We're going to get rid of it. So here we go. We can do key. All right, so we're calling components next. This is what's boggling my mind. How can we call components next? When these components are populated after the fact. So what if we load nothing into our components then? So we start off with an empty things, right? Now it's in the main. Already had that open. Let's get rid of it. And on key is when we're going to fill it up. Oh my God. Sometimes. All right, so we start off with nothing. So this will be list empty. Thank you. Tabbing does not work now. Right. So that makes perfect sense. And this is wrong. Okay. Tabbing doesn't work because the list was never created in the first place. Oh, right. I can see the problem. What a frustrating bug. Should we eat some Thai red curry today? I think we will. Let me go and put the rice on. And I can do a longer stream today. So I don't have to stop for lunch. Or maybe I should stop for lunch. I don't know what to do. Maybe I take a lunch break. And no, you need the program FZF as well, right? There's a program called FZF. You need that. But that's all written here. Okay, if you pop this open and you read this, it will say, I'm jealous, Kid Cal. I am not. I am somewhere miserable. Things you can do with FZF and Vim. Because you can't even love FZF. FZF depends on the basic Vim plugin of the main FZF repository, which means you need to set up both FZF and FZF Vim on Vim, right? Just read this stuff and you'll... It has a dependency on this thing, right? And you figure it out, right? Yeah, I could do that. I could take a break where I just go and cook and eat some food and then I come back and stream. It's really nice to stream when I'm feeling shit. Because I'm not joking. I'm serious. Because we have such a lovely community. It's really nice to lean on the community every now and then. You guys can like... I can be like an emotional vampire and just unload all my bad feelings on you. And then, no, we're not doing that. If I use Vim, I don't have time to read. If you don't have time to read, you don't have the ability to learn. If you don't have the ability to learn, you will never advance. If you don't advance, you have all the time in the world. Smathing. Checkmate. I'm kidding, Tiny Goliath. I'm just being a dingus. But okay, let's do that. Let's take a lunch break and then... come back and maybe you guys have some input on the video that I never get to make because either the jokes are too juvenile, they're not funny because I've recorded them 100 times or whatever it is. Maybe we can make some advancements there as well, right? And then of course tackle this bug. So in the meantime, let's raid someone and I'll be back after I've eaten some food. And who should we raid? Should we raid Spayers? He has probably already been lunching, so we'll do that. Aid space. There we go. Right. Now, come on, man. Okay. Right. I'm gonna ask him why it's follower only. I will still do the raid. Followers follow only. Let's see what it says. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to raid anyway. I'll catch you guys after lunch. Bye for now. Ooh, what beat, man.